Hey everybody, welcome to stream. Hope you're all doing well. I have no idea how today's stream's going to go. I have a lot on my mind. There's a lot bothering me. Some good, some bad. We'll talk it all out and I'll let you guys know what I'm thinking. I'm having a bit of a weird day for myself today and things have been kind of awkward. I have something I really deeply want to discuss with you guys, and I don't know if it's going to be right away or if it's going to be later. We'll get into it. There's a lot, like I said, that's going on right now. There was some YouTube drama that's recently popped up too, actually, and I think it's better that I go ahead and get ready to get my thoughts on it a little bit sooner rather than later. So we'll also tackle all of that mess. I will probably leave that until a little bit later, but I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. It's something important about a certain big news outlet YouTube channel is all I'm going to say for the moment. Let me think here. I'm thinking on what all's popped up over the past few days or everything this week. It's been worthwhile for talking about. I know there's been like a new Mario thing that popped up. Everybody's been keeping their eyes on Mario 3D World, and I know that recently there was like the mention of a trailer like a few days ago on Nintendo's Twitter or whatever, and they finally dropped the trailer for Mario 3D World revealing what the hell Bowser's Fury is, and I've got to say I'm definitely intrigued by it. I don't know how I feel yet. I remember looking at it. The trailer looked pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. There was a lot there. Looked like a giant little open area. Well, giant maybe there are, but yeah, fairly sized open area you could mess around with. Maybe worth 2 to 3 hours of content. It had like a lot of stuff that I think it had some of the power from the main game. All of them. I know it's just Mario and Bowser Jr. Like everything looks so different and it looks so neat. I have no idea how to word it. I remember seeing people in the comments like compare it to Mario Odyssey, and that doesn't surprise me, honestly. It makes me think of like the first thing I see when I look at it is like one of the kingdoms from Mario Odyssey, so I can see where the parallels come from. This might actually be a decent reason to look into it. Whether or not it'd be big and worthwhile is another thing, but that's one thing that was concerning me, was how large it is, which we'll get more into that in a second. Let's see. So what have I not covered yet? The Bowser Jr. thing is really, really neat. I'm curious to see like all the story details, how they're going to handle it, final boss and stuff. So then it's like Bowser is attacking you throughout the levels. It looks really, really interesting, to be frank, and the transformation at the end, the whole giant Bowser and giant cat Mario thing where it looked like he was fucking a Super Saiyan was really funny in my opinion. I found that to be really great. Also, one thing I couldn't help but think when I was watching it, especially more after I read like the comments on this, was like, yeah, this is closer to what everybody was anticipating from 3D World originally, in terms of like 3D Mario game in HD for the first time, and it's not what we got. 3D World was such a unique, such a different type of game that it's kind of hard not to say that a little bit disappointing in a few areas. Was I really unhappy with it? Not exactly that unhappy, but to say that I had really, really been wanting this to be a giant lie. Like, I mean, I'm looking forward to the Bowser's Fury stuff if I can find a way to play it, and I want to check it out. So it looks good, looks interesting. The layout and the theming is very cool looking. I think I'll pick it up and look into it if I get an opportunity, but I'm not going to pay for full price, or I don't know, I'm not going to get it unless it's a necessity, basically. I'll find a way to play it, maybe, if I can find a good reason. At least the online multiplayer thing on main 3D World looks really, really good, so who knows, maybe it'll be worth it, maybe it won't. I have no idea what to expect. It's all, like, mostly the same. But the new content is cool. I wish they'd done this with more Wii U ports to begin with, like more stuff where they had put in more like little bonus features to make certain Wii U ports more, what's the right word for it? I'm not sure. Well, more enjoyable, I guess, and more, or of like, what is the right term for it? Just more content you had for Wii U ports. All the Wii U ports to Switch have been on the kind of lacking side, and I think, even though it does look good, I don't know if this 3D World port is an exception to all the, like, Wii U to Switch ports we've got so far, so I'm still kind of uncertain if I want anything to do with it. I mean, if you want to know why, excuse me, I'd say, like, my reasoning is fairly simple. 3D World is a really, really short game on Wii U. It does not last a long time. It was like, what, like 5 to 6 hours maybe at most? I'm not actually sure. Might have been a little more. I think people have said you can squeeze 20 hours out of it if you get everything, and I remember playing it and getting a decent amount of time, but I don't remember being 20 hours, but it doesn't sound completely off basis. And then you got this Bowser's Fury thing, and unfortunately does not sound like it tacks on a lot of extra time, especially since Nintendo's official media is calling it like short extra campaign that you can play in the game. It's like, oh, okay, that sounds cool, but that wording makes me think, yeah, not gonna be a huge deal that's worth looking into. Maybe I'm getting the wrong vibe, though. Maybe I'm not looking at it from the right perspective. It looks cool. I'll check it out when I get an opportunity to, and maybe even consider streaming it, but probably not. We'll see, though. That was the first big piece of video game news that I could think of, and I'm glad I got that out of the way right now, because I still have a lot I want to talk about, and I don't know how this is going to go stream-wise. I have something really, really important that we're going to have to discuss like a little bit later, something that I want to discuss, and I don't know if anybody's here to listen, because I want to be able to have a really, really important chat with you guys, and if not, I guess I can make a YouTube video with like an update on this. I don't know, I need to talk about something kind of bad, and I want to be able to have people hear this, because it's something important that's been bothering me, that's all. Nobody did anything wrong or anything before anybody jumps the gun and assumes that somebody was, like, breaking rules or something. It's just something important, something that's kind of a personal problem I have with no one but myself that I need to talk about, which we'll get to. Let's see. I'm thinking here. I remember there was some other stuff that was I wanted to mention game-wise, like brand new news that I just saw, actually. Hey, C's, good to see you. Glad you could make it. It's been a while since I've seen you on the stream. I'm glad you could drop by, though. Came at a good point. I have a lot of baggage on my mind right now, so I should be hopefully eased up enough to talk for quite some time. By the way, since I talked about it a little bit earlier, how does everyone feel about the whole Mario 3D World stuff that's going on, like, or I should say the Mario 3D World stuff coming out in, like, February? I'm personally not too big on picking it up myself because I already played it, but I mean, I'm considering the whole 3D World thing right now, and still lean towards no, but maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Yesterday they posted their video for the 25th anniversary, which looked like I don't know what that was supposed to be. It kind of looked like a Rube Goldberg, and they put up like a bunch of different stuff and had like a cool little trail of effects going around, and where they ended it going through like a whole bunch of generations. I thought that was really, really neat. I don't know if there was any like important thing that came out of the big trailer yesterday. I know about new Pokemon Snap, though, because I saw that as like the big piece of news that came up on YouTube and Reddit and whatever, and we'll dive into that in just a little bit, actually, because I want to talk about it some, and I think it looks really, really good, but I want to hold on a second. I don't really get what they were doing, though. Some of the parts were interesting. That trailer yesterday seemed like when they got to the Gen 5 section of their little video they made, they kind of lingered on it for a little bit. Like, it might have just been me. It looked like they had like a pretty big little city part like planned out for the Gen 5 stuff in the video, and they had like an end thing showing up, and they didn't do that with like any other part of the thing with like, well, there was other trainers like from different generations shown, but I noticed they left it on there for at least a noticeable amount of time, and it kind of looked like there was a little bit of Gen 5 favoritism going there, maybe hinting and signaling that something potentially could be going on with Gen 5 in the future, and I'd be all down for it. I mean, personally, I don't think they're going to be doing themselves any favors if they make Gen 5 remakes before Gen 4. I think that'll rile the fan base up and make them get really pissed off, so I think it's more likely we'll still say NC Gen 4 remakes, but who knows. Also, the wording on that website, I don't know if you guys read on it, there was like, I didn't pay enough attention to the Gen 4 section, maybe it was longer than I realized. But they did a lot of stuff there, but like, yeah, Gen 4 seems like the next step there, and their wording on their website was interesting because it mentioned like revisiting like past locations, like different regions. All they mention is the Galar region, and now they updated it to say Galar region to Kanto region. It's like, something smells a little fishy about the way this is like worded. If they're talking about revisiting older regions, why is the first thing that comes up on their thing like a mention of Galar region? Because Galar region is literally the newest region in Pokemon. It's like, yeah, there's a little bit of some interesting wordplay, which makes me think that either A, the rumor about the collection being a thing is real, or B, we're going to see at least 1 or 2 remakes get announced and some really crazy stuff happen this year. Oh shit, it's here, yes! I'm so glad it's over with, thank you, God! I thought this hunt would torture me for the rest of time. Okay, I'm gonna just try the fucking quick ball strat. Oh, I'm so happy right now. Thank God. Of course, no fucking quick ball strat work. It'll work. Okay, whatever. I am going to play this really safe because I don't want to fuck it up. I thought of doing something completely different than what I was thinking of, but you know what? Fuck it. Let's get out. I need to get my Bolton first, I think. Yeah, Gen 1, 2, and 3 got remakes. Gen 4 hasn't got anything, so it makes a lot of sense to remake Gen 4. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to tell if Game Freak agrees and thinks the same way we do and wants to remake Gen 4, but I'm sure they're willing to do it and they're willing to listen to the fan base, so hopefully it's just me thinking that. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Right, let's move away from the topic of that for a second or two, because where was I? Give me a second. I need to get my false swipe Pokemon out while I'm doing this. Oh, right, new Pokemon Snap. I'm happy with the way new Pokemon Snap looks. We'll start talking about this in a second. Hey, Wayne, welcome to stream. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Also, this is very, very good. Shiny, like, super early in the stream. I was not anticipating this at all. The fact that it popped up today and popped up quickly is fucking absolutely absurd, and I'm glad it's over with. This hunt was fucking tearing me apart right now, and I'm glad that I can finally try to catch it. I'm gonna have to be really careful here, though, because I do not want to fucking shiny fail on my hands. Okay, that seems like plenty enough damage. Start going through my Premier Balls. See where they at. There they are. Okay. Worst case, I'm fucking going for goddamn Master Ball. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, I don't know if new Pokemon Snap's gonna be full price or not. That is a concern, actually. Oh, is it caught? Almost. It was really, really close there. But yeah, it looked good. I think it kind of, I'm not sure. I don't know if there's a vehicle in it or not, but it almost looked like you got like a little bit of chance to do free roaming in the game, which that's a big thing if true, considering that when you were playing through Pokemon Snap originally, the whole game was kind of on rails and didn't really get a chance to do much with it, so kind of just had to sit there and play the game, trying your best to get every photo. That'd make it significantly cooler or fucking change, though, if they actually put it up where you could go and explore the world yourself and photo Pokemon. I don't think that's going to be the case. I thought I saw the vehicle thing from the original one in there at some point, so I'm assuming if there is going to be any free roaming, it's going to be like something where we can do it as a bonus mode and not the main mode. It's full price. I haven't checked on that. That's a little bit on the disappointing side because there's no telling how long it's going to be. Although, who knows, maybe it won't be too long. I wanted to pick it up because I loved the original and I want to be able to get into this one just as well as I did the original one. Also, the amount of Pokemon variety is so good compared to what they did. It was like Urshins and like they haven't done one in such a long time. Like, there's a lot there. I wish we could get a total number, though. Hold on a second. What you thought? No Nintendo Direct and on Civic Games and not the full Direct. Yeah, I think everybody was kind of hyped about the idea of a new Direct, and then Nintendo just went, "Oh, you want a new Direct? Nah, here you go. You have more Mario footage, and you can sit here and enjoy it because you're not going to get a Direct." And it's like, really? We wait all this time for anything, and you give us a fucking single trailer basically showing off what Bowser's Fury is and not, like, a little bit more to work off of? Oh, come on, you fucking bastard. Stay in the goddamn ball so I can fucking get this over with. But yeah, so many good Pokemon. That Meganium shot looked great. There was I remember the Swanna thing. Let's see, what all was there that's big in the trailer? The environments look really pretty, I can say that. They had a lot of the starter Pokemon. I wonder where the legendaries are in the game, because oh shit, yeah, there we go. Fuck yeah, finally. But yeah, I haven't seen any legendaries in the new Pokemon Snap thing as far as I can remember. Maybe I'm misremembering. Like, there were quite a few of them in the original. Like, I'm pretty sure they had, like, didn't they have most of the legendaries, if not all of them? Yeah, I don't care about the hints right now. I just need to double check what I caught, and I'm pretty sure this is shiny. I'm pretty sure we saw the sparkles, but just to be absolutely certain. Let's just check this really fast. It won't take more than a second or two. Yeah, we did it! Fuck yeah! Okay, sweet. Finally, Regice, and I can fucking relax on this goddamn shiny hunt and fucking move on to either another one or do whatever. I don't need to think about this anymore. That's fucking 3 out of 3 Gen 3 legendaries so far. Alright, anybody know where the Regirock ruins are? Because I would like to head over there. I'm not going to do, like, a lot of it right now, but I want to go over there. I think they're over this way, or... Anybody want to help me for a second? Like, if anybody remembers what particular location they're at? Because that's my next goal, actually. Or is this the Registeel ruins? Let me see what this says really quick. Yeah, that's Registeel. Okay, Regirock. Let me see my map. Yeah, what's the location again? Because I cannot remember that for the life of me, and I would like to go down and, like, get started on Regirock today, even if I don't collect it yet. Anyway, yeah. New Pokemon Snap looked good. I'm not sure what all to say about it. Like, it's good. I hope they make it longer. That was a big complaint. That was something I was not fond of when it came to, like... Yeah, a big complaint. Oops, I read that wrong. I read the wrong thing, and I was going to go there, and it's Giant's dead. Okay, let me see. 1 second. I want to talk here, but I want to not get too distracted either. That's the Registeel, though. Let me see. Where is he? I know I've seen it before. I just don't remember the spot that it's at. Are you sure it's the Giant's bed? Or maybe I'm just misremembering. I don't know. I was going to say, this one is the Steel Giant door, so that's Registeel, so Regirock can't be too far off. I don't remember where the fuck the thing's at, or is it another part of the map here that I'm not looking at? No side slope. Give me a second or two to check this. Like side cave. Roaring Sea Caves. Not there. I want to say it's kind of close to 3-Point Pass, but not in the same spot. Maybe it was Giant's Foot, actually. New Pokemon not in Snap 2. You know Nintendo. Dumb naming schemes are their specialty. Just like how they decided to name fucking... or shit, where was I? Let's say... how the 3DS, like, its upgrade was called the new 3DS. I'm not surprising they call this new Pokemon Snap. It's like, yeah, that's not gonna get confusing as a name at all. It's like, yeah, good job fucking making everybody, they feel like they're having a headache with the game title, and then in the future, remembering new Pokemon Snap is different, it's gonna be fucking annoying. Giant's Bed, that's interesting. I wonder why. Maybe it's just the like spot you're in? I don't know. We're gonna get there. I just need to remember where the fuck I'm actually heading to, because even though I've been there, my memory is fucking shit. But yeah, like I was saying, there's like one other closing statement I can remember about, say, Pokemon Snap that I thought was worth talking about, and that's the fact that I remember that the original was like really short. Like it was like, what, 3 to 5 hours at most, maybe 10 hours if you're really goddamn slow. I don't think it was even that. Like, if they can squeeze out more time from Pokemon, yeah, new Pokemon Snap than they could in the original, they would be doing a lot of good for the game. They'd be putting a lot of... Hold on a second. I'm just gonna fucking see what Google tells me when I search this in a second, just to make... Well, let me see. Remember the trees, and it's mentioned Lakeside Cave. But yeah, if it's too short and it's not even like 30 hours, then yeah, I'm definitely going to ignore it and not pick it up if they bother to make it where it's not even that good of a value for fucking all day charged us. Also, I don't think I saved the game yet. Fuck, let me make sure I double save. I need to be cautious that I don't have to fuck up my shiny catch that I just got recently. But yeah, there was way too little content in the original Pokemon Snap. They need to rectify that with the newer one. Even if it's not longer than 10 hours, 10 hours would be a very fine minimum baseline for content. That'd be something. If not, then it's not going to be worth it, but hopefully they're willing to like take a look at it and make their pricing decent according to... God damn it, can we not do this to the fucking wild Pokemon right now game? I'm very tempted to just go ahead and open a map up, because I have the fucking memory of a goddamn goldfish sometimes, and I am barely remembering where the fuck I'm supposed to be heading to, and feels a little bit frustrating not remembering where the fuck this temple is. I know I've seen it, I just don't remember where I saw it's the problem. I kind of thought of doing one of the roamers, but I'm not interested in that right now. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to go ahead and stray away from the game talk for a little bit, just because there's another big name subject that's been going on, and I feel like I kind of have to weigh in on this, even if not by a lot. So, some YouTube drama started up recently, and oh, it is some nasty drama, but it's something pretty big, especially for anybody who watches Nintendo and keeps up with like a lot of the news, because... So, I guess I'll start with the top of this. Some bad shit went down recently regarding GameXplain. For the record, this is not about like them as a whole. GameXplain as a whole is still good, but there's some allegations that just came out like, I don't know, was it a week ago or what, about Andre, and it does not paint him in a good light. Basically, there was like a report, like I'm sure some of you guys have noticed if you pay any attention to the channel, maybe not. A lot of the employees from GameXplain have been leaving one after another, and recently like a big allegation from like the wife of one of the employees who left came out and openly admitted how they did a really poor job of like treating their workers, and how basically they were like, everybody was being overworked and underpaid. Apparently Andre had been giving people like barely any money, like say like $1 or $2 per hour or something for like all their work. They're being forced under strict deadlines, and like they were given like very little wiggle room with their work. I'm not sure how else to word it. Like they were forced under some really, really shitty working conditions, and like one of them came out and like spoke about how they treated the employees really, really poorly. I think it was John's wife, actually. You know, it's not like something to joke around about, because you think maybe this isn't real. There was actually something that came up just recently three of their biggest members left. I just mentioned John. Fucking John was the first one, yeah. Then Ash left, and now Derek. Ash was pretty big for a few years on the channel, and Derek's been there since the very start, so you know there's, like, some serious shit going on. Okay, give me a second. I need to figure out where the fuck this goddamn location is. Ruins Cave. I don't know. There was, like, a new thing where they came up and he came up and made an apology video, and it's, like, one of the sorriest excuses for an apology I've ever seen. It was, like a statement where, like, oh, all of my contracted workers or whatever, something like that, and he's like saying, these who are my friends moved on to another job, and I feel sorry that they felt this way. It was like, I'd have to link you guys the statement. It's really goddamn bad, though, and absolutely something that's like, this is your apology. It looks like you barely put any actual thought into what you were apologizing about, and just went on to get legal help because you were fucking scared of the fact that fans were fucking jumping on you. It's a mess. I feel really, really distraught to an extent about it, because it's like I trusted this bunch of people for a long time, and I especially trusted Andre, and then finding out that, oh, they actually have a very, very shitty boss. It's like, yeah, I feel bad for them and feel upset hearing about how this all went down. Am I being stupid here? Why can't I fucking remember where to go? Why can't I find the ruins? Maybe I'm not looking in the right spot. I swear I probably went by the fucking Regirock ruins like 5 times over at this point without actually remembering where the fuck I'm supposed to head to. Wait, is this giant's bed here? It said so, I think. Yeah, okay, making sure. Right side of the map. Maybe I'm on the right track. Give me a second or two. I need to maybe shut up for a second. You know, it sucks when a big YouTube channel, or even not even a big YouTube channel, just like a channel you really love, is you find out there's some drama going on, and then you find out that the person is not somebody you thought they were. Like, it feels like you kind of get gutted on the inside, not knowing these things, and then finding out something horrible, and like finding out, oh yeah, they're kind of a crappy person. It's like, ugh, I wish that YouTube drama just didn't exist sometimes. I'm not saying this is an okay situation and that it should be ignored, but okay, there we go. I don't know why I couldn't remember where the fuck that was at. I knew I was close, but I didn't remember where the fuck I was supposed to go to, finally, after all that time. Thank you, that was appreciated. I get lost on this map way too easy. For some reason, compared to, like, open world maps, this map is really confusing, despite being really goddamn small. I don't understand why, either. But yeah, the YouTube dramas have to kill somebody. It sucks seeing how a place I thought was trustworthy is a place I no longer feel the same about. I mean, for somebody who's like watches and at once didn't hear an update, apparently the guys who who quit actually did go on to found like a new channel, and they're all doing pretty good, so things are looking up. Apparently, who is it again? I think Andre, not Andre, I want to say Andre is the wrong one. Excuse me, Ash, Derek, and I believe it was Steve, I don't remember if that was his name. They all went on to form like a new channel and started another news channel. It's ran like better than Game Explained, so I'm happy they're able to move on and do things right. It's good to see they're working on using their talent for something good and not being stuck under somebody who doesn't appreciate them. I'm not going to talk about it too much more, but I mean, I wanted to weigh my thoughts on a little bit. I hope that everything goes well for them. I'm gonna probably look towards a new goddamn source of news after seeing Game Explain fucking this kind of light. I don't know if I can trust them the same way that I did in the past anymore. My whole outlook on them has kind of changed completely. Let's go to it. I'm gonna bring up another topic instead and not talk about this too much, because I don't want to linger on the same topic forever, though. Okay, so I got something I gotta talk to you guys about. It's not a big thing. It's something that's been weighing on my mind I think part of the reason, not entirely, but like part of the reason I've been struggling with my commentary and feeling like I'm not getting anywhere with it lately has been because of like some, I don't know how to word this besides internal or obviously like mental problems, because I told you guys before how I have depression and how hold on a second, I'm gonna do something really quick with my thing and update this while I'm making sure we can get started on the Reggie Rock stuff. Just need a moment to settle this up. But yeah, I've been going through a lot mentally right now, and it's been rough. I told you guys about the depression already, and I'm sure you guys remember, or like the update video I made on it. I think I had to come to terms over time with the fact that I have some sort of, I'm not sure if it's OCD or what, some sort of problem with my brain. And I'll explain this as best as I can. This might be a little awkward because my wording is not perfect, but let's get into this now and start talking about it. Excuse me. Ugh. So, I've been struggling with some incredibly negative thoughts over the past few months, maybe even the past few years. It's been like increasingly bad, like over the last few years. It was really, really nasty, and it got worse and worse to the point where it's been bottled up where I can barely handle it anymore. It's the kind of thoughts that keep you up at night and start fucking with you, start making you doubt yourself personally and all sorts of other things you don't want to think about. And I was kind of scared to bring it up on the channel because I didn't want to be judged, and then after looking into it, I realized maybe I was being a little bit too secretive about it and not actually saying anything, when it would be better for this to be off my chest and just something I can confide in you guys in. It's important. I have these sort of obsessive, messed up thoughts that cross through my head. Like, some of it's religious crap that's like ingrained in my brain from being like extremely religious since I was younger. Not really anything I can, I feel like it would make any sense if I talk about it here, so I'm not going to bother because I don't know how to describe it really. One of the things that I remember that's really bad that's been going on with me, and I'd read on this and how this is common, and like, have you guys ever had these thoughts where you like, you don't necessarily want this to happen, but it's like you end up sitting there thinking about like anything, and you get some fucked up thought in your head, like what it's like to kill somebody, that kind of thought, where it's something very morbid, messed up that nobody wants to think about. And to put it lightly, I've been having these kind of terrifying thoughts that keep popping up into my mind, and they mess with my mental health, I feel like, and my like psyche overall. I feel like I'm helpless when I deal with this, and I also deal with problems where it's like I feel like I get suicidal and afraid of my own mental health. It's like, it feels like it is like my brain isn't even part of myself at some points. Like my brain is trying to goad me into fucking killing myself and trying to convince me that I'm worthless. It's like all these negative thoughts have been like bouncing around, fucking messing around in my head every day and screwing with me, and it builds up this awful, awful pressure and makes me feel miserable. I don't even know when this all started. Like I said, I was afraid to talk about it, and I never brought it up on stream, but it was just, it's been bad, and I still don't feel completely well over it. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about, and no judging here. Like, I'm trying to, how I should word this, like, I think I'm going to talk to my therapist about this stuff the next time I go over to therapy, and maybe sit down and have a long discussion about this kind of stuff. You guys ever have these kind of thoughts I'm talking about here? Like anything negative, like stuff that's really, really bad and stuff that's worries you that you have to deal with at some points? I'm curious. I hear this is apparently not super uncommon by looking online. Like, I found that apparently quite a few people deal with it. It made me feel a lot more reassured that I was normal. Apparently it's got to do with, like, your conscious. I'm not going to go ahead and talk about this too much more. I just wanted to bring this up and wanted to, like, confide in you guys on something I was feeling bad about so that I could hopefully feel a little less miserable and maybe talk to you guys on normal wavelength. Getting that out of my head and opening up made me feel at least a little bit better. Honestly, do worry about my mental health sometimes. Ugh. How's everyone been doing lately anyway? All good? You guys had anything fun happening? I have been doing just whatever, not really doing anything particularly interesting, just same old really, and playing games, trying to do whatever. I actually have looked up some new stuff and looked into some fun stuff that I thought would be worth talking about, or not even talking about, well, I guess worth talking about would be the fun thing to say, like streaming ideas and what all I could do for future streams. I think we're going to take a little break from Pokemon starting tomorrow. Now that I got the shiny, I can finally say I can take a little bit of a resting point, and we'll explore ideas I've been wanting to work with. I was looking for a good game to play yesterday, and I think I stumbled on to just what I need for, like, a good, relaxing, what's the right word for it? Well, good relaxing way to move away from Pokemon for a little bit and the shiny hunting stress. Is chat okay? I'm not seeing any messages at all. I'm a little bit surprised and a little bit uncertain what's going on with the chat. Is everything okay? I messed around with a lot of stuff, actually. If anybody's got any, like, games they want me to try out and stream, I'm more than happy to try and see some new stuff on stream. See what you guys would like to, and see if you guys have any suggestions for cool stuff to play. I found something called that I played when I was younger and remembered it recently, called Gex. The Gex 64, I think, to be precise. I am looking forward to playing that again. I haven't played Gex in such a long time. I honestly want to play a new platformer pretty badly, and I've been interested in looking for something fun. I was watching a friend play an older platformer yesterday, and reminded me just how much I enjoyed them. Hold on a second. I think I need to turn my ceiling fan on. I'm feeling a little bit hot right now, and I need a little bit of cooling going on because for some reason the air is feeling a little bit uncomfy. I think I'm a little bit better now. But yeah, you guys, what have you guys been playing out of curiosity? I guess we can talk about the game I'm going to stream. It's something else. I've got to say, it's a little bit on the offensive side. I want to throw that out there for anybody who's looking to see the stream I'm doing in another few days. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or Saturday or what. I need a better, like, plan for how I want to handle the rest of the week, but I'm thinking very, very soon, look into this Gex game. It's pretty good. I remember playing it as a kid. There's a lot of really old, outdated jokes. It's a dumb, goofy platformer where it's like a lizard talking about, like, all these jokes. He makes some really, really, what's the right word? I don't know how to describe it. Like, I guess hot takes about, like, celebrities of the time and stuff like that. It's a very, very well-known game. Whether or not I'd say it's remembered as something that was a classic is anybody's guess, though. You guys might like it. I'm not gonna... If people don't like it too much, I might avoid streaming it, but only if there's, like, a severely negative response. I'm not playing the game for the bad jokes. I'm playing it because I remember the game being kind of fun and kind of goofy, and it's like, I want to go back to Gex and play it again. I want to revisit some older games that I remember as a kid that I haven't played in a long time. I think I've talked about two of them that I really enjoyed, like Gex and Glover, two that I want to play. Also kind of want to do Spyro this year. I don't know if I'm going to. Hey guys, just a quick question. Is chat still good? Because no messages in any time, and I can't tell if YouTube's, like, breaking or what. It doesn't really seem like it's showing any activity right now, and I'm uncertain if everything's good or not. Just want to make sure. Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. What all I want to talk about. I wonder, are there been any big announcements, or not big announcements, any like big game releases that happened this month that I haven't remembered? Like, I'm just thinking because I only remember a handful of stuff popping up, and I remember Cyberpunk got announced and released, like, actually not announced, but it got released like recently, and I haven't seen anything else come out. I'm wondering if there's like any big new stuff. I've seen some older games get some resurgences. I'm also kind of surprised Among Us is still as big as it is. Like, there's still people playing it and still making videos of it, like, fairly frequently, and I thought Among Us was eventually going to kind of fall out from being played so much, and nope, seems like Among Us is going to be here to stay and not going anywhere for quite some time. Not that it's a really big deal, just it's definitely like everywhere on YouTube. Let's see. I'm thinking on what all is big at the moment. I mean, Minecraft has been very, very popular. I think since Dream or whoever started getting attention to Minecraft, it started picking up on people playing it. What do you guys hope for to see out of like game announcements this year? I'm curious. I want to hear about what everybody's personal wishes for 2021 excuse me. Let's see. I need to take a moment to think about this, actually, before I answer, because I haven't given my thoughts on it and, like, thought of anything that I particularly want out of this year. I mean, I'm not even too interested in more Pokemon stuff, but I am interested in Let's Go getting another game, so I'd like to see Let's Go for Johto become a thing this year, and I'd be down to play it if that ends up being a real thing, so I'll play that if that's a thing for sure. I mean, probably not going to be a release this year, even if it is a thing, because it'd be a little weird to have 2 remakes in 1 year, honestly. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is an easy one to call. I kind of want to see a new 2D Zelda game, actually. We haven't had one in some time, actually. What was the last new 2D game? That Triforce Heroes thing or whatever? And before that, it was A Link Between Worlds. I never played Triforce Heroes too much because they region locked the online, even though it was multiplayer. Also, give me a second or two. I wanted to. I thought it looked good, but I didn't have anybody I could play with outside of friends that lived in other countries, and I'm a big Zelda fan, but I'm not about to pick up a multiplayer game and then ignore the main component of it. Actually, before we talk anymore about, like, oncoming games, how many of you guys play multiplayer stuff on a regular basis? I'm curious. Do you guys avoid it or not? I know we talked about it before, but, like, I'm curious to just hear, do you guys ever pick up multiplayer games like that often, or you barely ever do it? I think I've personally leaned more towards single player over the years, and I'm not against a good multiplayer game. In fact, I'll play a lot of multiplayer games that I can't play multiplayer with bots or whatever sometimes if I have no choice, but let's be real, when it comes to playing on, like, a game that's multiplayer with AI, it's not the same when you're playing with the robot and going through all the puzzles, or you're doing it all by yourself. It's like, it feels like you're almost wasting your time a little bit doing a fucking game that's programmed to be a multiplayer, and you're playing it without the help of your friends. It's very nice to play multiplayer, in my opinion. I love single player, but also really like multiplayer when you get a good group of friends together. It's an undescribable experience. You have to mess around with each other, can do all sorts of stupid shit like killing each other in the game, or you can fucking crack really bad jokes, find ways to break the game, like all sorts of things. Being around more people and the commentary and having that laugh or whatever makes the game more enjoyable. I think in general, playing games with more people is overall something I feel is more satisfying, but the act of actually getting people together to play with is an extremely hard thing for me, so I don't lean into playing multiplayer super often. Hey, I'm curious, anybody's still here? I'm just double checking, like, Wayne I know you said you were getting Monster Hunter Rise. If you're getting that, I'm curious. Are you planning to play that multiplayer? If not, then whatever. Not really a big deal. Just thought I would throw that out there. I'm still undecided if I want it or not. I would like to set aside a time and set up a group for playing Monster Hunter together if we get it. I think a lot of us playing it together would be a lot of fun, actually, and probably a fairly enjoyable experience, so I'm down for it. There's actually a lot of good multiplayer stuff coming up over, like, next year or two or whatever. Monster Hunter, that's not even a year, but you know what I'm saying. There's that Back for Blood thing. There's probably some others I'm forgetting about that I can't seem to place my fingers on right now. There's always, like, good Jackbox Party Pack stuff. What am I talking about? Multiplayer games and Monster Hunter and whatnot. That's what I'm talking about. Surprised you didn't catch on to that. That's all. Welcome back. You didn't miss out on anything too important. I'm just talking about whatever. I'm trying to think if there's anything I brought up that I had forgot to mention, and I think I have talked about mostly everything. By the way, since we're talking on games and stuff, you left? Oh, well, whatever. As long as you're back, I'm glad you can make it back. But yeah, where was I? I think I was talking about multiplayer for a minute or two. Give me a second. Oh yeah, I was talking about, excuse me, I meant to say, what kind of games are you guys hoping to see announced this year, like, new titles-wise? I personally want to see a brand new 2D Zelda game, maybe, or at least more Zelda support. If not, I'd like to see, like, a Wind Waker, not Wind Waker, I'd say a Skyward Sword get an HD remake, because that hasn't been remade yet. Zelda's probably going to have a big anniversary this year, I bet. There's a lot of anniversaries this year. I bet you there's going to be a good chance that the only thing that's really going to get brought up as a fucking big anniversary this year is going to be fucking probably just Zelda, and nothing else going to get like a lot of spotlight. Maybe a mention, but nothing more. I hope I'm wrong, though. At this point, you're just decided to slay Monster Hunter Rise. Huh. I'm a little bit surprised you don't have anything else you're hoping for. I mean, out of all the stuff that's coming out, yeah, that's a definite game that looks like it's going to be like a big new game and a fun one, so I'm with you on saying that I think Monster Hunter Rise will be worth it. I don't know if I'm going to be getting it at launch, but I have my eye on it, and I want to play it, actually, so I'm going to look into it. Let me see. Hold on a second. I'm thinking here. I wonder what we can see this year. I get the impression, and I hope I'm wrong, that we might get another Kirby game this year. I don't know about you guys. I'm still really, really sick of the old Kirby formula, and I really want fucking something like, I want to see another Kirby game that's inventive and like different compared to prior Kirby games. Like something that's not another 2D platformer. I think another platformer Kirby would be a slap in the face after having so much of it, and Star Allies being so ridiculously easy. It's like, yeah, I'm ready to take a little bit of a point away from Kirby and stop bothering with it if they can't change anything. 3DS games are the best. Yeah, the Kirby 3DS things are pretty good, and let's see, Monster Hunter. I know the Monster Hunter games got a lot of fucking love on 3DS. I didn't play Monster Hunter on 3DS, so I don't even know a whole lot about it. I only know I played like a little bit of the demos. They were fun, but didn't ever get to me to the point where I wanted to buy it that much. I don't know about you guys, and this is just partially me. I think I'd started to click Monster Hunter a little bit the more I played it, but like, yeah, I didn't really love what they did with the 3DS Monster Hunter games. I found the gameplay okay, but I didn't really want to pick up another 3DS games and 3DS game and like pick up a game that was kind of low in graphical capability and felt a little odd playing at some points. Like, it wasn't bad, but I'd rather play my games on console, like in a HD setting, than on a handheld. I still like to play plenty on handheld, but I didn't want to play another standard definition game like that, at least not in the Monster Hunter series, so I didn't want to fucking bother with the 3DS ones. I don't think we have to worry about that too much, though. I think 3DS games are kind of dying out and not really likely to be a thing in the future. I mean, 3DS kind of got officially stopped after, like, what was it, last year sometime, so I don't see that happening anytime soon. Let me see. I should what you're saying in just a second and see what all I'm not reading in the chat. Monster Hunter games besides World have an open world. They have a loading screen between some sections. Quality life improvement from World. Yeah, I've seen that when I looked at Rise. They had like an open map that you could explore. I don't know if it's going to be like everything is open, but the fact that you can seamlessly run across and not have to do any real loading screens and get over to where each monster is easier is kind of nice, actually. So yeah, I'm looking forward to potentially buying it. In fact, if I had the money, then I'm gonna go after picking it up. I haven't been able to get any new games yet this year, so ugh. I actually had to spend all the money I had saved up this year, well, not really this year, saved up in general, on fucking food yesterday because I needed more TV dinners and I didn't have enough to save for other things, so I went down to Walmart and bought some new stuff. I was surprised I just barely had enough for what I needed. I'm kind of getting a little worried I'm going to be able to get my stimulus check either, and I don't have I need to save up, and I'm not getting like anything for extra money. I would like to spend money on a new game, and I don't have that to use at the moment. Let me see. It's a better version of World. And on video out on YouTube. Some details about Rise 25 questions. That's interesting. I'm glad they're being open about the game, and that's something I wish we could say about more devs. I don't think it's something we'll had the pleasure of saying for any time soon, but like, it would be nice if more game devs would be happy to get it out and like be open with their game development cycle and like talk about games with their community rather than leaving us in the dark about their projects, because it'd just be good to have like an idea of what's going on. And Nintendo doesn't even do that all the time, and they do it sometimes, but I wish they would be more open with us. That'd be particularly nice. Have us get a Valve Index? I'd like to, but I don't see that happening anytime in the near future. Right now, I just need another video game. I'm curious, how often do you guys buy new games, actually, for stuff to play? I have been the type of person where I buy new games at least every month or two, I feel like, and sometimes there's an exception to it. Like right now, I haven't had the money for some time to spend on anything new, and it kind of sucks a little bit because I was looking for something new to play and I can't really like get anything that I really want right now. Like I'd like to pick up some new games really badly. At a Valve Index. Which I don't know if I'm going to do a VR chat or not. I mean, I wouldn't mind, but I'd kind of got to the point where I don't play it because it's awkward starting conversations in it. I don't know about for other people, but whenever I try to talk to people in VR chat and start conversations, it gets to the point where it's like uncomfortable and don't get more than a few words in before I can actually end up and leave a fucking conversation because nobody will fucking talk. Can continue a conversation. I've gotten to the point where I don't like using VR chat as a result. Maybe I would use it for some stuff like messing around, but as a result of trying to play with people, I've kind of grown to the point where I don't really like getting on it anymore and trying to chat because it feels like talking to people is unnecessarily hard on VR chat, so I don't really use it that often. I don't know. Might be just my 2 cents. not really like it's a big deal. There's a lot of cool VR games out there. I'd like to maybe do some streams of VR games if I actually pick up one, though. Hang on a second, let me see. Check on the next message. They have a world in VR chat, everyone sleep in VR. Huh, that sounds like a really, really odd usage of VR for the game. I mean, not like it's that weird. There's some fucking stranger things I've seen, like some volleyball game that was like really goddamn dirty, and I'm not gonna say more than that. There's some fucking strange ass VR games out there. Speaking of which, you can find some fucking weird games just by looking all around and see like all sorts of crazy dumb shit that's just flooded on the Steam market or whatever. I wonder what the best things I can pick up if I do get a VR headset are, though. I'm sure Half-Life is going to be an easy answer. Like, I'm thinking on stuff that's not popular. Maybe the job sim stuff, and I don't know, I haven't seen a lot of things that are, like, really big. Anybody experienced any, like, VR games that are, like, not very well-known, like, obscure games that are more, like, lesser titles that people don't talk about very often? Like, any good ones that are out there, like, small VR games? I'm wondering if there's anything neat out there. The only thing that comes to mind when I think of this are some of the weirder ones, or it's like a horror game, and I remember fucking, like, there's a duck hunt thing where it's like, it's a thing that parodies Duck Hunt. It's a horror game, and that looks like it might be kind of fun. Stream VR, you streamed? Yes, VR. I don't think I would mind trying it. I don't know if I could do it or not. It'd be kind of hard to set up. I'm sure it'd be worth it if I could. I think that'd be something that'd be a fun experience, is to play around and see what all we could do in VR if I get the option to, though. I think it'd be a fun time and mess around with all sorts of shit. Plus, VR seems like a very, very surreal, immersive experience. I think that'd be neat to go through the process of playing games like that on stream and just get to share my experience with you guys in real time. Only problem I have with that is, you know, when you're setting up new games, getting volume levels corrected or fucking, I understand it's very, very hard and very much not a fun thing to put up with. Let me see. I guess I'll swap the topic for a little bit and change to another topic that I want to talk about. Let's see. Oh, excuse me. Let's talk about older games, and I talked about platforming stuff kind of earlier. You guys play any, like, really, really older, not so well-known, like, older games or platformers? I'm curious to hear about this, because I was thinking about, like, my stream plans for soon, like, as in the next week at the absolute latest. I have something I really want to stream that I talked about earlier, but I don't know how many people got to hear about me talking about it. I'm going to be setting up on my computer to get Project 64 ready for another game stream, and we're going to be doing Gex 64, and I'm looking forward to revisiting it and seeing how it went. It's something about the old games when it comes to N64 especially, maybe GameCube to an extent. 3D games in that era were something else, and I think part of it is that a lot of game devs who were releasing stuff around that time were making the jump to 3D for the first time and didn't know what they were doing, so you ended up with a lot of experimental shit where game devs were trying to make unique games and just tossing out ideas and figuring out what would stick, and it ended up with like a huge amount of like different experiences you could play for 3D platformers. I mean, it's honestly more shocking to see anybody who did like a game that wasn't fully 3D back in those days. I could name like so many of them that I remember off the top of my head. Both the big Gex games that came out. Glover even had a fucking unfinished sequel that was worked on, and I kind of want to play that at some point too, so maybe I'll do that. Banjo, Kazooie and Tooie, Conquer, Donkey Kong 64, like, God, there's so many of them, and then there's like a whole bunch that I have never played and had a lot of interest in too, so I kind of want to open up to playing some older games a little more. How do you guys feel about that, actually? You guys like playing older stuff any, or do you guys mostly avoid older games? I feel like a lot of the time when I play my stuff, and I play anything, if I do something older, it's usually for a revisit and not for checking something out on my first time, so I haven't had a lot of, like, brand new older games that I say that's a weird way to word that, but yeah, brand new experiences, older games that I've done on stream yet, so still thinking about stuff I can do for that in the future. There's some I've heard good things about. What's it called again? There's some obscure ones. Space Station? Was it not Space Station? Silicon Valley, or what the fuck it's called? The game where you're like playing. I think you're supposed to rescue like a bunch of animals or something. That one looks good. Where the fuck it's called? That one's pretty good. There was another one that I can barely remember, and it reminded me a little bit of Doom, except it had like bugs in it. Give me a second. I'll see if I can find the name of this game really quickly. Okay, it's no, wait, never mind. I thought I remembered it. Fuck, I'm gonna have to check it later. Okay, whatever. Here's a fun question for you guys, and you don't have to answer this unless you want to. What's the most obscure game you've played that you either don't know anybody else who knows about it, or you don't know many people who know about it, or just stuff that you played that you don't think has got a lot of attention? I'm curious to hear about what kind of weird games everybody's played that they're just obscure out there. I'm trying to think on what the most obscure thing I've ever touched is, and as a result, the most interesting one that I can't remember right now. Tough call, actually, on that. I play a lot of different things, and it's also a matter of separating, like, official games from games that are just, like, itch.io projects. Not that there's anything wrong with those. Those are fine. In fact, I've never done anything about that, but, like, I wouldn't mind doing a stream one day where I sit down and we download some games off of itch or something, and then just sit there and try out a bunch of different games and see what the result is. Actually, hold on a second. Before I continue, chat is okay, right? I don't mean to be, like, persistent and fucking bother the chat about this, but I do want to make sure that my chat doesn't randomly break on me, and that I can until everything's working while I'm playing. Where was I? I think I was talking about itch stuff, though, and like how like some games that were on there. I remember back in the past, I don't know if you guys, I'm sure you guys probably remember, like 5 to 10 years ago, there were like a period where everybody was testing out Unity for the first time. I don't know if it was like right when Unity was a brand new engine, and you'd like look on sites like itch, and there would be like a billion different like games that got put up there that were all like left on there, and just these weird little projects people worked on. Hi there, welcome to the stream. Missed out on a few things. We finally got shiny Regice, so I don't know if you're regular or not. If I seen you here and I don't remember, my bad. I have not the best memory, so my ability to remember some things is kind of shit. I somehow managed to have like both really, really good memory and really shit memory at the same time. That's a weird thing to deal with. It really, really is. Like, you try to remember something important, it just fucking falls out of your head, and then you remember like the most pointless shit. I don't know if anybody else has this problem. Something I deal with quite a bit. Ugh. So yeah, what we were talking about earlier, I was talking about obscure video games. Anybody got any good ones they played that they don't hear people talk about, or good ones you've checked out that you wanted to talk about? I'm trying to think on some stuff. I can remember a few things I've played that are, not really played, but things I've seen that are really good. One thing I like about games that I don't see talked about a whole lot, I guess, would be seen game jams, and I don't have any skill to make one, unfortunately, like a game, I don't think. I do love the idea of watching a person put together, like, a game for a game jam and see how creative their games can be. It's something great to see. It is the idea behind a game jam amazing. It kind of puts a lot of pressure on the person to make something, but it's neat to see, like, how somebody can work under a deadline and see how they can be creative, just to see what all they can pump out really fast. I enjoy that. Some really, really fun ones. Like the Sages thing with Sonic every year. I don't think I've ever streamed a game jam, actually. Maybe we should do that in another year or two or something. Maybe I should stream Sages. I don't know. How do you guys feel about those kind of things? You guys ever try any of the games and those kind of things? There was a really cool one that happened last year. Might still be going on, actually. There was a... So, I think most people have heard of this already. This is a thing that happened, like, probably the last year, maybe 2 years. Like, there's been, like, these little slight collections that have been made, like, every few years, and released on itch. I think they're called, like, the... What's it called again? I can remember. Haunted PS1 demo disc bundles, or whatever the hell they're called. I don't think they cost any money. They have, like, a bunch of games, and they all share the same... like, theming, that they're all based around, like, the PS1 aesthetic, and they are all horror themed. Like, those guys are doing a game jam, at least they were. I don't know if it's still going. I don't think I've actually tried any, at least as far as I can remember. There's some neat ones out there. I think there's something really funny about, like, going on a game jam, and then you check out the games, and then not going for the best games, but, like, you go through, like, the games and you look for, like, some of the sloppier looking projects and download, like, the worst looking ones. There's something really funny about, like, looking through these game jams and then seeing, like, a minimal effort fucking game that somebody slapped together in, like, a day or less, and then and submitted to a game jam, and just seeing how crappy it is. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I find the idea of looking at a bad game and seeing how awful it is like, usually really fucking funny. Just seeing how, like, the games are like, usually really lazy or really, really poorly done. I'm not saying that to, like, hurt anybody's feelings, more so it's just, like, it's hard not to laugh at a game when you see something that's really, really low quality and looks like it just, like, doesn't have a lot of thought put into it. Or you just see, like, something ridiculous in it. I remember a lot of these I've seen on, like, say, like, Vine Sauce, and I watch, like, streams there. Good stuff to see some of these games. This is, like, one thing that would be, like, a little worrying if I ever do try to make a game. Not that I'd be too upset about it. It'd be, like, yeah, I would be a little concerned about... If I wouldn't be able to do as good as I wanted with, like, a first draft of a game and try to make it work out. And even though I'm sure it wouldn't be perfect, like, I wouldn't want to have somebody download, like, something I put a lot of effort into and was trying to work on that I hadn't got, like, a great working version of yet, and then, like, have it get basically mocked or humiliated. Like, that's one thing I'd be concerned about. Like, you put your game up online, anybody can download it, and I'm not saying it's not okay to judge a game regardless of, like, situation, but I mean, sometimes people don't have enough time to work their, like, drafts of their games out and, like, try it and put in a lot of effort, need a little bit of time to make things work. Let's see here. So what are some, like, good game jams that happen every year? Or not even every year, just, like, some fun ones people have participated in. Like, you guys... Like, what are some of you guys have played or at least heard of that, like, I'm watching streams? I feel like that's something that's not too hard to find when you look on a streaming site, is you look up a game jam and you find them. Sages is really good. I mentioned that earlier. I have a lot of respect for Sages, because Sages is just, like, high effort. It's Sonic fan games that are... Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm a little bit of a stomach problem at the moment, I guess. But yeah, it's got a lot of good games that are all high quality and genuinely feel like they're better than some official Sonic games. Like, it impresses me just how well done they are. The fact that some of these people get jobs from, like, making these fan games is actually really, really amazing and really, really cool. I wish more companies could be as open about their games as Sega is, even though I know Sega is mostly just free about letting people make stuff for Sonic, so it's not as great as it could be, but it would be great if Nintendo extended that kind of hospitality to their fan base. Unfortunately, I know they never likely will. Could you imagine how cool it would be, though, if Nintendo was actually, instead of their current stance, they actually took the stance of, like, welcoming people to make fan games every year for, like, a game jam, and, like, use that to hire new people for the company? That would be fucking incredible, actually. See, like, what kind of ideas that people toss out there, no matter what series it'd be based on. I mean, I guess Nintendo's answer to people wanting fan games to put out Mario Maker and a few similar projects. I don't think there's anything that's that close to Mario Maker on the Nintendo Switch, though, that's, like, good for that kind of itch. Not anything I can think of, at least. I don't know, I'm not sure. Wouldn't mind seeing more of it. Give me a second or two, I'm thinking on some stuff for a moment. Okay, here's another topic for a bit. It may not be anything too good. I'm just, like, this is like a thing I figured that'd be good to talk about, that's like a thing that'll be worth bringing up. So, give me a second. Have you guys ever tried to make a game? I'm curious because, like, I've had the experience of trying. I've wanted to make a game for myself for the longest time. I'm curious if anybody else here is the same kind of goal and has ever tried to make a video game. Like, anybody, they put in the effort of going through and seeing if they can design some kind of video game personally. I've done it a few times. I've wanted to make a platforming game. It's supposed to be similar to Kirby, and my biggest problem is learning how to use, like, game development stuff, like software for making games. I don't know about you guys. Whenever I pick up a tool for making in-game stuff and I try to use it, usually I end up just getting confused and frustrated and end up, like, quitting partway through. I'd like the idea of making my own game. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a cool idea and something that'd be fun, but it can be a little bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, and a little bit on the difficult side. I've tried to make my platforming game like 2 or 3 times, and I've used, like, Game Maker or 2 or whatever it's called, that program. First time, I don't remember why I stopped. I don't think it was anything too important. I guess I lost my motivation, which is not good. Second time, I didn't use the tutorial and got frustrated and gave up, even though I shouldn't have. For anybody who has tried to make a game project and wants to talk, actually, I'm curious, what kind of engines out there are good and easy to work with? The ones that let you learn how to make stuff that aren't, like, super hard to learn. I think I've toyed around with a few different ones before. Like, I've tried the Game Maker toolkit. I've tried Source SDK for a little bit. Didn't really get anywhere with that. I've even strayed away from the idea of making games to try making, like, some animated stuff for a little bit. I wanted to try and Source Filmmaker and got frustrated and just didn't really bother after so much time. I don't know, I have a lot of respect for people who can do it because it seems like it's always fucking ridiculously hard and ridiculously challenging. I never goddamn can get anywhere when I take out the tools. I know it takes a lot of effort and it's not easy either, like, I wish I could get used to it. I do applaud anybody who can actually handle it. I can imagine learning to use tools for the first time is crazy challenging. Anyway, I don't know what else I want to say on this topic, if anything, so we'll switch topic again for a little bit. Here's something I've been kind of thinking about talking about for a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be anything that'll be great as a discussion point, but something I think will be maybe worth bringing up, something that'll hopefully be good. And this relates to like a philosophical question that I'm just curious to hear people's opinions on, something, and that'll be an interesting discussion. If you guys had to lose one sense, what would you lose and why? Like, obviously, every sense has its benefits, and losing any of them would be really, really bad. But I'm curious to hear what everyone's personal answers would be to that. Like, what everyone's would pick. Let me see here. I don't know, actually, for myself. I mean, I've thought about it a little bit. I think either, sense of touch or sense of maybe smelling for me. I'm not really certain because it's a tough thing to discuss and figure out an answer for. I think I remember somebody I talked to about this before got into a discussion about this and a little bit of an argument. It's like, there's somebody who is blind or deaf. I think they were deaf and it's or not really deaf, they're hard of hearing, I guess I would say. They'd argue that being deaf was better because a lot of people live with it. And it's I don't know if that's a sound argument, even if it's not a bad one, because it's I think there's probably a lot of people out there who don't have a sense of taste like touch or smell, and we just don't know about them because it's probably not as common to bring up in a conversation or even be aware of. The people who have these problems may not even be actually aware they have these issues in the first place, compared to being blind or deaf, and those are really easy to recognize, no matter who you are, it's easy to tell that you couldn't hear or you couldn't see anything, whereas the other three, it's well, how does anybody make you realize you don't have a sense of taste by anything other than the fact that they bring up tastes and conversation, and then you end up leading into this point by talking? That's the only way I can think of where this would naturally be a discussion point in the first place. Or just I guess I could see where it could be the case with not being able to feel anything. If you couldn't feel pain, then you'd be able to tell quickly if somebody asked you about something like that, you hurt yourself, you didn't have any problem saying that you're fine and you didn't feel anything, and probably be able to notice over time. I don't know. I'm curious. Let's Google something really quickly, because I want to check something. Is anybody, are there any fucking people who actually have this? I'm curious. Huh. I'm just seeing what the, a result of looking at this. Huh, there's apparently a few cases. I don't see anything. I'm seeing a few, interesting. There are cases of this. Yeah, there's barely any people who report this, and I guess for natural reason. Must be really weird, though, going throughout your whole life feeling no touch and not being able to feel sensations whatsoever. I can only imagine how that's it'd be a double-edged sword. Can't experience, and it's what it's like to be happy in a lot of ways. Sure, you can have emotion, but you can't feel pleasure. But on the other hand, at least you don't feel pain. I don't know if that'd be good. Imagine if you had that and then you had a problem where you were bleeding and you didn't notice what was going on, how bad it'd be. You ended up in a life-threatening situation and you didn't even realize it because you couldn't feel pain. I couldn't imagine what that's like. I'm gonna be honest, and I mentioned these senses. I can't imagine how a no sense of smell would be much of a downside. I think I can sort of maybe see a little bit of it. some interesting research I remembered looking into when I was younger, stuff I saw on the internet. I don't know if anybody read up on this. I remember like seeing some stuff like from some papers or whatever. It was like online and other things I read about, like how apparently there's like certain things on your mind. I think it's like, say, memories are linked to like your sense of smell, like your I think it's called olfactory or whatever. I don't remember the full name of what I'm talking about here. I'd have to look it all up to double check. You know what I'm saying? I think it's glands, or what is it called? Somebody can correct me. I don't care. I know I'm probably not getting this correct. But yeah, apparently your memory is like directly linked to your sense of smell, and apparently certain smells like increase our memory or help us remember certain stuff. I can see how that could be a problem if you didn't have a sense of smell. I don't know if it'd be terrible, but like that must suck if that's the case. You have to go through life and you want to remember stuff and you can't remember important details in your life because your sense of smell doesn't work correctly, and as a result you don't remember a lot of important moments. I mean, outside of that, it might not be bad, though. There's a lot of... I'm going to be honest, when I talk about smells, like... I don't care about smelling stuff too often. It's nice to smell something nice smelling, but there's a lot of times your nose gets subjected to very, very nasty smells, and frankly, ugh. I could live without the nastier smells. That'd be one part of not having a sense of smell that would actually be kind of pleasant. I wonder, actually. I don't think so. I'm curious, just try to, like... I guess somebody could elaborate, there's somebody in here, but, like, is anybody in the chat, or at least anybody, like, who... in the chat know anybody who's, like, blind, actually? Not even necessarily, like, completely blind, but, like, maybe legally blind? I'm curious to hear, like, a little bit of, like... what it's like. I'm sure it's not something that would want to experience, because it seems like a terrifying thing to have like no vision if you've been like able to see stuff your entire life. I'm sure for anybody who's blind it's not a big deal because you've been blind your whole life, and you get through if you learn to read Braille and whatnot, and you can make it work. It's always interesting to read about blind people and like how they get around to life. Not bad, just like they have to rely on like canes and stuff, and it seems like there's a lot of accommodations you have to live with. Not that it's terrible, just like the idea of being blind and not being able to see where you're going at any point sounds like it would make life unnecessarily difficult when it comes to getting around in life. I wonder if like there's any parts of like these people's lives are like, I'm sure they're fine now by the time they've like grown through their life living through it, but like there's any times where these people will have to deal with stuff like they can't tell where they're going, can't find their cane or whatever, and end up like running into a wall and not being able to like tell where they're actually at because the fact they can't see anything. That would not be a fun thing to deal with. I guess that's why you have stuff like seeing eye dogs like as a type of equipment. Oh man. There's a lot of things in this world that are just like a giant blessing, whether it be service animals or whatever. I remember something I was talking about this stuff, like I remember like talking about this stuff and I was thinking like, I remember hearing something about like service animals. Apparently there's monkeys, I don't know if it was for people who are blind, like some people have like monkeys they have in their house that are like trained to help them with stuff, and the monkeys will like do certain things for them they can't do on their own. Like monkey will like grab their food or whatever for them and prepare them, or they'll find their TV remote or whatever. They're trained to help them with like their everyday life, and that sounds like an interesting living circumstance. Being stuck living with an animal like that, not bad, just I wonder how that must be. I'm sure it'd be helpful in that kind of scenario. Imagine having to deal with that your whole life, though. I wonder how that must feel, like, didn't rely on that kind of help. I'm just thinking here what all I want to discuss more. I want to come back to the subject a little bit more later rather than talk about it too much at the moment. So I'll come back to this in a little while. I want to talk about it, but I want to move along to other stuff. Let's see here. Give me a second. I'm thinking here. Okay, let's see. 1 second. I thought I saw something I was meaning to look at now. Okay, I remember now. So this is another subject I'm going to bring up in a second. Hey, welcome to stream. Good to see you. Yeah, I just got it actually, like, earlier. Like, right in the beginning of the stream, I actually ended up spawning shiny Regice, so I finally got to end the shiny hunt today. I am super glad. Have a lot of stress off my shoulders, and I feel relieved right now. I'm planning to take a break after today for a little bit, and then we'll do some other streaming stuff that's not Pokemon related for a little bit. I think I want a chance to play some different games to relax and then come back and do more shiny hunting when I feel like I'm ready. I think after all the time I've wasted, I just want a little bit of time to take it easy again. Actually, I've been thinking of doing something crazy in terms of shiny hunting that I think is going to be rather rough. I don't know if it's going to be... I think that's another encounter. I need to be careful and make sure I add these up. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking of doing something crazy in terms of shiny hunting that would be something that might be worth it. I don't know how it'll be, like, how it'll go. I was actually considering, like, setting up through emulation, getting a ROM of, I think, Pokemon Ranger, and then, I don't know what game. I wanted to get one of the Gen 4 games ready, maybe, like, 2 separate instances, and then go through the game and get the Manaphy egg, and from what I understand, apparently if you, like, trade an egg for Manaphy between, like, 2 different save files, like, you can actually trade another save file and remove a shiny lock on Manaphy, and I've been thinking about the potential of maybe doing a shiny hunt for Manaphy in the future. I don't know if it's going to be a worthwhile endeavor and something that'll be fun, but I'm considering it. Whether or not I'll like it is something I don't know yet, and I kind of want to think about it a little bit. I know it's a lot higher at shiny odds. I'm partially just, like, waiting to see if they're going to give us official means to obtain it. Anybody done any, like, really crazy ones and have any experiences they can share? Maybe to, like, get an idea of how these go and maybe if it's worth it to try? I'm just curious to hear opinions on it. Manaphy seems like one of the crazier ones that's, like, really difficult to work around, so I don't know if it's, like, a super good idea to bother with it. I don't know. We're definitely not going to be touching as much shiny hunting in the next few weeks as I did before, and maybe not even the next month. I might take a little bit of time to myself before I get straight on to doing any more major shiny hunting. I don't know. I wish this Regirock could come early, that way I could be done with it. Not upset either way, though. Here's another thing we can talk about for a second. This is just like a small thing, and it may not be a big point of contention to discuss for a little bit. How do you guys feel about, like, annoying clickbaity titles? You guys hate them? You don't care about them? Don't really bother with them? I'm curious if you bother to, like, check in on, like, videos or streams very often and end up seeing clickbait stuff. I've noticed something on Twitch that I don't love seeing recently, where a lot of people will, like, put up their game title and it's, like, Pokemon stuff and leave it as, like, Sword and Shield when they're not playing it, and it bothers me a little bit. Not a big deal. It doesn't anything worth stressing out on, but it's like, why are you leaving your game title completely inaccurate and not changing it? Why are you putting it as Sword and Shield? I don't understand that, and frankly, like, it seems a little disingenuous. If it's being lazy and if you have the game already listed because you wanted to go back to it, that's one thing. It's not a big deal, but if you're going to be doing multiple streams of, like, another game, then just change your fucking title. I'm sure there's people who'll check your channel out just to watch, like, something a little bit different, even if it's older, maybe. I don't know, just thinking. Not really a big deal either way, but I never liked that too much. Clickbait's something I wish could just fucking disappear off the internet and not be a thing anymore, so yeah, I don't love clickbait. Here's another thing we can discuss for a little bit. Another thing that I think will be hopefully a decent conversation point. How do you guys feel about comic books or comics? I'm curious, like in general, actually. I used to read them quite a bit, not necessarily the books, because, well, for starters, even like over the last 10 or 20 years or whatever, comics have kind of died down in their, like, popularity, so I don't really get involved reading them too much, but I found them to be a pretty fun source of entertainment. A lot of video game series that I've, like, looked into have comics, whether it be, like, official or unofficial, and some pretty fun stuff to look into. I enjoy reading them. I mentioned platforming games I was watching yesterday. One of my friends who streams is playing something called Plock. The game looked like it was... apparently the game started off well. I didn't get to see, like, the beginning bits, but it gets really hard and not as fun. And it didn't get a sequel, probably because it didn't look like the best game in the world. But the creator of the series actually went on after the game was over and made, like, a webcomic series about it, like, talking about characters in the universe and making up some plot lines and interesting stuff for lore. Really, really neat. I find that's one of my favorite things about games when I'm playing, or not even playing, just when I'm looking at stuff, is to see lore in games. I find that to be really cool. See all the different kind of things you can find out when you search lore. See the character origins or how something was created. See like, how do I describe this? Like, really any that kind of stuff, like learn about the in-game world. Do you guys prefer that yourself? I'm curious. I'd say, yeah, I prefer lore, because lore for me makes a game feel more fun and immerses me in the experience and makes me feel like I'm getting the most out of a game. So I feel like when I look into game lore that I get to really, really look past the, like, normal parts of the game and see kind of into the developer's thoughts and see how cool it is. Game that's crafted with a great game world is usually something that you want to learn more about. There is one type of thing when it comes to lore that I can say that I'm not a fan of, and that's the fact that when there's like a fucking info dump in a game, and I never find that to be anything really, really fun or great to, like, look at. I find lore to be cool, but not seeing somebody fucking pile up all their goddamn stuff into one fucking info dump and just drop the whole thing on your shoulders at once to read. That's something that's a little bit annoying at some points. Give me a second or two. Okay, here's another thing from last topic. Just one last thing, because I think this will be a decent discussion point. What's the most immersive, like, game scenario or game, in your opinion, you've played, you guys? I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. Like, what's your favorite video game series and got the best immersion out of all the ones you've played? I love talking about this kind of thing. I think it's really great. I have trouble narrowing it down on which my favorite is. I think, say, Zelda or Metroid are big contenders for it. Pikmin is also up there for me because I love the Pikmin series, and frankly, I feel very happy to talk about it. So, yeah, I'm more than happy to sit down and discuss the Pikmin games and have a nice long chat about them. I've talked about my reasoning for it before, and for good reason. It feels believable, especially. Zelda's good about that too. Zelda's got something where it's like, not necessarily realistic, but the story crafting in Zelda is good enough that it feels like it's very, very easily enjoyable and something that I like checking out. So, I mean, yeah, I enjoyed seeing the Zelda lore. Love playing those games. I'm kind of looking to see if I pick up any new games this year, like maybe look into like Monster Hunter lore. That could be fun. Okay, I'm gonna light the washing. Yeah, I was going to. I'm gonna need to heal my Pokemon first. You know what? We'll just save outside, and I'll have the floor lit up and ready to go by the next time I'm playing. So we'll stop here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the stream, and I'm glad my shiny hunt ended with a success finally. So yeah, this is good that it's over with. I'm ready to be done. I'm happy I'm done. So yeah, let's just end it on a good note. I think that's the right way to look at this. Wow, looking at these two, I can barely tell this is a shiny just by eyeballing it. Whatever. Okay, that's our stopping point. I'm sorry if this was shorter than your guys' liking. I hope it was interesting. I apologize if it wasn't, and hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I will see you guys probably on, let's see, what's today again? Thursday? Let me see the, like, time, or not time, the calendar. I was going to stream today. Part of my goal was if I got a shiny, I would take another day to myself. So we're going to take one more day away, and then from there, I will just take a break and not stream any for another day, and then we'll come back and do some more stuff for a few days, and hopefully things will be all good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great day or night. Bye, everybody. See you soon.